Thank you for attending my presentation. I'm the presenter Wangyu, and here is the title of my study. Let me start with research motivation. Platforms that sell digital contents are under pressure to survive from fierce competition, and moreover, because of unique characteristics of digital products, price-driven promotions have become essential strategies for sustaining profitability in the market. And there are two kinds of price-driven promotions popularly adopted by sellers. And the first one is price discounts, which we call the firm-centered discounts, hereafter FCDs. That's because vendors make all the discount-related decisions. The second one is point redemption, which we call the consumer-centered discounts, hereafter CCDs. That's because consumers have initiatives whether to use reward points or not. And from now on, we would like to discuss business problems. First, knowing the importance of promotions, many related studies have been conducted, but the consumption behaviors of consumers have received little attention because of the unavailability of the consumption information. Consumption behaviors of consumers are important because it reflects the consumer's actual satisfaction. To the best of my knowledge, this study is the first to eliminate the effect of price-driven promotions to the post-purchase consumptions. And second, although the two promotional schemes are the most common form of promotions, there has been a lack of studies considering both of FCDs and CCDs in one context. In this study, with the unique data sets from an ebook platform that implemented both of FCDs and CCDs, we have good quasi-experimental settings to understand the heterogeneous effects of two different discounts on post-purchase behaviors. And in conclusion, there are three research questions, and I will answer these questions in detail in the resource part. And the basic framework of this study is expectation confirmation theory, which implies that perceived product quality is affected by prior expectation. According to mental accounting, given that FCD itself may signal inferiority in the product quality, consumers may adjust their perceptions by lowering the disconfirmation thresholds. Then consumers are easily inclined to disconfirm product quality and abandon the use in the middle of the consumptions. In contrast, consumers may sense losses when using reward points to reduce the prices. And this kind of pain brings some endowment effect. They feel more attachment or ownership, which results in an increased disconfirmation threshold. And in the results part, I will show you how well these theories explain the data sets. And this is the related literatures, and because of the time limit, I will skip this part. And this is the data sets. The point is that we had an innovative tracking devices that measure the consumption of each individuals, like as you can see in the figure. Here is the summary statistics, and this is the model-free analysis. Here, REG stands for a case of buying at a regular price with no discounts, and it acted as a reference group. In this analysis, a pair t-test was conducted to determine how the consumption of the same book becoming different. As we already expected, the consumption rate of FCD was smaller than that of RAC, and the opposing results were driven with the CCDs, as you can see. And before we go into empirical analysis, one of the concerns is indigeneity issue of FCD and CCD, because the former one is related to the content provider selections, and the latter one is related to the consumer selections. To relieve this indigeneity problem, we adopted some variables, for example, save money account and after publish as instrumental variables. As you can see in this graph, we confirm the instrumental relevance and exogeneity conditions. And we also adopted the second Yogo-Wek identification test. And details will be skipped, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And from now on, I will share the results of the empirical analysis very briefly. First, in terms of consumption quantity, consumption amount decreased when customer purchased the book with FCDs. In contrast, the opposing results were driven with the CCDs, which is consistent with the model-free analysis. And then for further study, we wanted to measure to what extent redemption frequency moderate the endowment effects. The result is that endowment effects driven from CCD were diluted when customers are more likely to redeem their points frequently. And in addition to the consumption quantity, we conducted the Cox model, proportional hazard model, to observe how fast users complete their contents. We contend that consumers who impose higher value toward the book finish their reading earlier than those who impose less value toward the products. As a result, CCD induces customers to finish her book faster than the book purchased without any discounts. And then to understand the economic value of consumption, we measure the statistical significance of consumption amount on the next purchase, the subsequent purchase. Our finding represented the higher consumption amount from the previous purchase increased the customer's repurchase propensity. And from now on, we will see how FCDs and CCDs influence the review intentions. To mitigate the potential indigeneity issue regarding the discount schemes, we adopted this two-stage residual inclusion, 2SRI. Interesting point is that regardless of discount type, consumer with discounts showed lower intention to write a review. They could be explained that discounts diluted the disconfirmation effect due to the economic benefits they obtained. And in this part, we explore the effect of discount schemes on review balance, length, and extremity. Since the review characteristics can be only observed when consumer write a review, we employ the Heckman selection model. And as a result, as you can see in the figure, FCD had negative influence, but CCD showed the positive influence. And we distinguished whether the review is informative or not on the basis of the list of informative words, as you can see in here, by using the text mining methods. And then we could find that FCDs are negatively associated with informative reviews. And finally, this is the key findings. And through the empirical results, we can conclude that there exists some heterogeneous effects of FCDs and CCDs on perceived value toward the product. The perceived value is reflected in the form of consumption and review evaluations. Because I already covered the main results, let me skip to the implication part. With those key findings, you can draw some valuable implications. First, theoretically, this study extended the literature on ECT to include the consumption and evaluation behaviors of consumers in the context of digital contents products. Also, we distinguished discounts into two forms in the view of Montreal County and found some opposing effects on post-purchase behavior. And we theorized how consumer perception toward the discount affected consumption and evaluation of digital content. And managerial implication is as follows. First, considering that FCDs resulted in lower consumption and negative results of the review evaluations, content providers should be mindful about potential risk of applying all including price discounts in the form of FCDs that project no sense of individual ownerships and the attachments. Also, to increase the positive effects of CCDs, retailers should consider the diminishing effect of frequent point redemptions in reward point systems. Lastly, the fact that CCDs were superior to FCDs in terms of eliciting positive and helpful reviews, and also the fact that CCDs were more effective than FCDs for inducing next purchase. Those facts can help retailers to design the discount schemes and more helpful strategies for their business. And this is the end of my presentation, and thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me through my email.